In this video we will demonstrate how to use the splint tube feature to construct a palatal hygienic orthodontic retainer wire. These can be laser sintered in titanium, or a chrome alloy, or they can be printed in a castable resin for further processing. The wire will include several cementable pads, which rest against the palatal tooth surfaces. Select the dental model, then open the splint paint on submenu. The dental model will have to be named first, for the algorithms to function correctly. Use the Name Target Model button. Next, press the Paint on Layer button. In this demonstration, we will design cementable pads with a thickness of 0.4 mm. This means that we will need to double the value to 0.8 mm into the slider, since half of the layer will be submerged into the dental model. This was covered in a previous tutorial. You will need to conduct some of your own testing to see what is best suited for your needs. We will also set a thickness of 0.4 mm in the heat map slider, with the thinnest part being set to 0.2 mm. By pressing the left mouse button down, start painting the palatal surface of the tooth. Remember, you can check the correct location of the pads against the lower model, to make sure they do not interfere with the occlusion. Continue painting the pads on each tooth. When done, accept the layer. The pads need to be very accurate, therefore a fine setting of 0.1 mm on the voxel remesh slider is ideal. Press the Finish Layer tab. Keep in mind that the pads will still submerge through the surface of the model. By using the Ctrl and the B key, you can make a cross-section to inspect the pads. The overall pad thickness is 0.8 mm. When the fitting surface is created in the final step, the pad will be reduced back to 0.4 mm. To proceed, close the splint paint on Layer submenu, and hide the pads by pressing the H key on the keyboard. Find a suitable starting point to begin drawing the tube. Shift and right-click to place the cursor. Open the Splint Tube submenu and press on the Draw Tubes button. Go back to the menu and select the dropper. Move the dropper to the dental model and left-click anywhere on the dental model. This will let Blender know that we want to shrink wrap the tube to the surface of the dental model. Use the E key to extrude the line. The tube is slightly offset from the model. The little specks inside the tube are subdivision markings, and in order to hide these, press Tab, and Tab again. Select a vertex, then use the E key to extrude the tube. Always make sure that the magnet icon is activated on the upper toolbar to obtain an adhesion of the tube to the surface of the model. It is very useful to tick the Display Wire checkbox. This will allow you to view the model through the wire frame. This will also allow you to place the tube in a relaxed and untangled curvature onto the model. The vertices will snap onto the surface of the model, because the snap feature is activated. This can be seen on the menu, as well as on the upper toolbar. Place another vertex, by using E and the left click. At this stage, the tube is offset from the surface of the dental model by 0.7 mm. This can be seen by the value on the tube offset slider, over here. If the value is too small, the tube will submerge too deep into the model, and this will result in a flattened wire when the fitting surface is generated. Set the offset to compensate for a slight tissue clearance. Continue to extrude the tube. In this example, the design of the retaining wire will allow the patient to floss between the teeth. Follow the contour of the teeth. You can check the placement of the tube by unhiding the lower model from time to time. While this is not shown in this video, this is a crucial step to avoid occlusal interference of the wire with the opposing bite. The location of the hygienic retainer wire has now been established. If necessary, you can still select individual vertices in order to relocate a section of the tube. Simply use the G key. Try not to overlap the mesh in certain areas. Always keep the mesh in a relaxed state. This can be observed by the wire pattern in the mesh. When you are satisfied with the result, you will need to remesh the entire tube. A setting of 0.1 mm is ideal for this kind of work. Press the Remesh Tube button. Then uncheck the Display Wire checkbox. Finally press Alt, and the H key, to unhide the pads. At this stage, the retainer wire is still made up of two objects. The final cutting of the fitting surface will be demonstrated in the last chapter of the splint module. This is dedicated to the splint cutting tools submenu. Thank you for watching this video.